Yo, Tenchi Masaki, you just won this Silver Surfer number 4. Thank you for being part of the mystery mail call.
John Bashima Goodness, thank you for entering the November mystery mail call. And if you want a chance to win the December Grail, you gotta sign up, link in the description.
Giveaway, schmove away. Let's just get to the damn list. We're here to do a trending video.
Another week, another list, multiple books that just came out in the last 7 days. Haven't seen a hot one like this in some time. Hit the like, slap the subscribe, and Russ, hit him with number 10.
Number 10 on the list, we have a repeat offender. Amazing Spider-Man number 1, the Eminem variant. These were only available on his website, and 5,000 copies made of the Salvador LaRocca variant. $165 average sales, and we did have a $251 high sale.
So that was early last week. Late last week, there was a black and white version limited to 1,000 copies printed. Those have hit heights of $800. I'm getting a vibe of you may want to be patient on this one. There's a lot of Eminem fans buying this, but also a lot of copies that exist.
In 2009, Eminem actually appeared in an 8-page promo comic called Eminem the Punisher number 1 that was timed to release with his album Relapse.
Now, the comic Ryan was talking about was an 8-page promotional comic that was actually available in the XXL magazine. But if you want a 32-page comic that was available in a comic book store, go for the Mighty Avengers number 3, the 1 per store variant from 2013. Whether you're into the true first in the promo comic or the actual first in the regular comic book, you got a lot of Eminem to hunt.
Eminem is a huge Marvel Comics fan, and this 8-page promotional issue, this is a real first appearance. Like, is Eminem part of the MCU in continuity? It's probably why you mentioned that Mighty Avengers 3 variant as one of the grails to own.
Because you could purchase that at a comic book store, whereas finding the XXL magazine was definitely more difficult, but I know that's a grail for those Eminem fans.
And if you just want to read Eminem Punisher number 1, it's on Marvel Unlimited.
Keep track of all comic book news and the keys that be spiking, because they're coming out every week, apparently, by utilizing code TOM101 on the best comic app in existence, Key Collector Comics. You support the show and get access to the app in its entirety. Learn about funny books and so much more. Next at the list at number 9, we alluded to it last week, a little foreshadowing, Pop Kill number 1 from 2022. Last week, the second printing, the uncensored Adam Hughes variant.
This book is hitting about $200 on average right now. The raw high sales, $285, but right now it's sitting around the $250 range.
Now, Adam Hughes is always a fan favorite, and this is definitely one of the most sought after Adam Hughes books in the last 18 to 24 months. I love this cover. We have to keep in mind that this was actually the cover to number 4, and it was a Kickstarter, but that one had a wet t-shirt. They have reissued issue number 1, and the second print of number 1 has an absolutely nude, uncensored cover, and that is what's driving demand.
The second printing was printed to 1,000 copies, whereas the first printing of issue number 4, same cover, just with a t-shirt, was printed to under 300. This is a story about 2 rival soda pop companies, Siamese twins separated at birth, running 2 competing giant industries, hiring assassins to go after one another. At the list, at number 8, Justice Society of America, number 1. This just came out, Jeff Johns goodness. There are a ton of 90s variants that hit the shops. Russ, you're telling me they're selling out.
DC is doing a great job with the 90s throwbacks this month. They are doing a bunch of different variants with this amazing lime green, and they're doing some of these with embossed foil. It feels a lot like the 90s. Normally when we're talking about DC books, it's the content inside, but right now it's the content outside that is driving these books. $12 average sales and a $15 high sale for this foil embossed goodness.
The foil treatment was continued with other covers, different colors, with Batman 129, Batman Incorporated number 2, The Joker number 2, and Wildcats number 1. Now, Ryan, I know you don't typically buy variants, but did you get sucked into any of this 90s craze?
If Jen Bartel's doing a variant for a comic, I'm probably going to get it. And she did this 90s Wonder Woman cover, which is in my collection right now, and I like it. I like it a lot.
Let me know in the comments section, did you get any? Did you order any? Make sure to pick up your comics. And at the list at number 7, First 7 Days number 1, debuting in 2022, $40 average sales, $130 high raw sale. It is dropping quickly as people learn what the hell just happened. Bad idea. Created a fictitious publishing company and ran a comic book in the previews guide and sold it to the select few who figured it out.
There are so many naysayers about Bad Ideas marketing strategies. What's the deal with the donut? What's the deal with the website? Why do I have to take a photo with Matt Kint? So Robert Kirkman was doing his best to turn the industry on the ear many years ago. We saw the early end of Walking Dead. We saw what he did with the comic that should not exist, Solid Blood number 17. Even Eric Powell has gotten into it. So it's crazy that Bad Idea is getting so much negative press about an idea that's been around for such a long time.
Creative marketing decisions to cause hype, to create a collectible, to create the comic book with the collectors in mind. Bad Idea doing it again, and this story follows the first 7 days after the toys become alive. It's 8 Billion Genies meets Toy Story.
I think the real takeaway here is just make sure you read the entire previews guide every month when you're placing your orders. Otherwise, you will miss tiny little things like this now.
We all missed it. And if you want to join the mystery mail call and get a chance at this first appearance of Scorpion, get your copy of Demon Wars Shield of Justice, a Peach Momoko variant, as well as your David Mack Ninja Funk issue number 1. We made medals and foils, virgins and trade dress going in 1 per box at random. ComicTom101.com or hit the link in the bio at the list. At number 6, Nova number 8 from 2008, all because of that Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. It was fantastic. It filled me with joy. It got me out of the Halloween season, brought me over to the Christmas season.
I just got done saying Black Panther 2 was like the high water mark of Phase 4, and I still think that's true. However, this is like very close second place for me. I love this holiday special.
It's very close, man. It's so sweet. And we got to see all of our favorites from Guardians of the Galaxy. $30 average sales for this comic book, 9.8's hitting $395 post-special.
Now, the last time we talked about this book, it was because it was the first appearance of Cosmo. But this time, we are seeing a 200% increase in copies sold because it is the first appearance of Nowhere, which is a location based inside of a dead Celestial's head.
First seen in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, we were brought back there to party it up, to listen to some Jingle Bell rock.
Yeah, there was a musical sequence in here that I didn't love, but that's my problem anyway. Whatever. Cosmo showed up in this movie, voiced by Maria Bakalova, who you might recognize from Borat 2. There's a whole weird title for that, but Borat 2, the sequel, she played his daughter, and now she is the voice of Cosmo. We have 106 copies of this book on the CGC Census, Nova issue number 8. There are 33 of them, graded at a 9.8.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3, the trailer dropped yesterday. It's going to be a powerful movie. We even get shots of Will Poulter as Adam Warlock. We're going to be talking about cosmic characters for a long time, regardless of if this is the finale of the franchise.
Yeah, Guardians is over, so you got to figure, are they gonna set up Silver Surfer? Are they gonna set up Adam Warlock? Are they gonna set up Nova?
How about the character featured on the front of this damn comic? At the list, at number 5, Strange Academy, number 14, debuting in 2021, seeing $20 average sales, 9.8, hitting $110 recently.
So the first appearance of Gaslamp is seeing a 300% increase in copies sold this week because Strange Academy Finals issue number 2 was just released. All of the students have gotten a hint as to where Gaslamp is, and they're missing classmate. I'm looking forward to issue number 3 with Gaslamp on the cover. That is going to be released December 28th.
There's a total of 207 copies graded at a 9.8 of issue number 14. Keep an eye out for issue 13 as Gaslamp appears in cameo on the interior of those pages. May go missed at the list at number 4, Avengers number 144, debuting in 1976. Seeing $45 average sales, a high sale set in November for $500 for a CGC 9.6.
In this issue, Patsy Walker becomes Hellcat. And that is relevant now because we just had a new solicitation for a miniseries starring Hellcat called Hellcat number 1 coming out in March.
Some of the best parts of that story.
Yeah, Patsy Walker's been throughout this recent run of Iron Man that just wrapped up with issue 25. Some might say she was like the only good part of that run that just ended, but she turned Tony Stark's marriage proposal down recently.
There are 23 9.8s of this book on the census, and the last time one sold was in July of this year for $1,440. People love their Hellcat.
So people were specking about Hellcat for the She-Hulk series, and we had talked about her being Jessica Jones' best friend back in the Netflix days. But really, this book saw a 271% increase in copies sold because there is the solicitation for the new miniseries, as Ryan mentioned.
I still think this is a safe spec for the Netflix cast that's already coming on over to Disney+.
Yeah, a lot of them are jumping ship, heading over to Disney+. And I checked, while researching for this last night, I didn't see any news about her, Patsy Walker, making an appearance, but, it's still early. Who knows?
And now at the list at number 3, New Mutants 99, debuting in 1991. We have the first appearance of Shatterstar making the list. We have $10 average sales, 9.8s hitting 170. That's about $100 down from its all-time height. And this sale just happened. What's going on? The guy died in Deadpool 2.
Yeah, he had a little run-in with a helicopter, and it didn't end very well for him, and I don't really see how this character can make an appearance in the third movie, but it's Deadpool.
It's Deadpool. Anything goes, right?
Anything does go in the Deadpool universe. The actor Louis Tan actually tweeted out a hashtag Deadpool3. So there's a lot of speculation this week, causing a 500% increase in this 90s goodness. Now, this book has been a $5 to $10 book forever, and it shocks me with such a massive print run that we really only have 214 9.8s and a total of 481 slabs on the census.
There's a lot of members of X-Force that I would much rather see on the screen again. But yes, you're right, Russ. It didn't take much more than a few emojis to spec and make this book trend this week.
Number 2 on the list, Eve number 1 from Boom Studios. A $4 average sales, and we are seeing a $90 9.8. We are also seeing the 1 per store unlockable variant going for $100, and there is a 1 in 50 in Hyuk Lee variant going for $168. 1,100% increase in copies sold because we had news that there is something in production.
This past week, a fan tweeted out to author Victor Laval, the writer of Eve, if there's any news about this title getting optioned. This is the response. It is true. There's an amazing team hard at work to make it a reality.
That's exciting. Eve was a cool little miniseries that I liked last year. It's a weird mix of like playful comedy and also like really, really depressing climate change apocalypse story. It's fun.
Eve wakes up from cryo sleep to a robotic teddy bear and an entire city of New York underwater.
Yeah, that teddy bear is the MVP, and if this actually does happen, if this gets into a movie or something, that's the guy I'm waiting to see. I want to see that murder bear.
Hit the subscribe. We're here every 7 days for the Comic Familia, and at the list at number 1, a book that we've never talked about.
We have never talked about this book, but it is another one of those 90s books with foil on the cover, Spider-Man The Lost Years, number 1. First appearance of Elizabeth Tyne.
Also known as Janine Godbey. We have the love interest of Ben Reilly, the clone of Peter who has gone dark. He's become Chasm, and he is starring in his own event.
Yes, the Dark Web event is currently going on right now, crossing over between X-Men, I believe, and Spider-Man comics, dealing with a whole bunch of clone shenanigans. But because clone shenanigans means Ben Reilly's girlfriend, is now getting roped into this. She has now become a villain herself called Hallows Eve,
who's also getting their own series.
So this book has been on Spec Radar since back in August when we had rumors that there was a Hallows Eve series coming. $15 average sales, $90 for a high sale this last month, but we saw an all-time high sale 2 months ago, $120 last time we had this spec.
A not so well-kept secret that this character was going to become this new goblin.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of goblins around too. Little too many goblins, if you ask me. That's a whole different side story.
But this is why she's been in the pages.
Right, correct. Janine has been kind of hanging around in the pages of ASM throughout the Beyond storyline. She was Ben's girlfriend, just kind of kept sort of hostage, really, in the Beyond Corporation for that whole run. Don't really know why she was there the whole time, and now it makes sense.
There is only one copy of this book rated at a 10.0. Hasn't sold in almost 20 years, but the 9.8s make up 28 copies on the census. I want to know what the community thinks about this brand new character. What do you think about all of these new books spiking and making books trend? As always,
keep responsibly.
No.
said, join myself and my homies on the best new place to buy and sell collectibles. It's called Whatnot. We auctioned a Wolverine #1 newsstand 9.8, the one that used to be right here. And it sold for under $700. The fair market value of that book is above $1,200. There are no deals better on the internet than on Whatnot. Join us, and we have 2 other videos for you to check out. We made them for you. Have a great week.